So this video has been in the making for a while now. It's going to be what Silent Hill 2 means to me and what the game has taught me, and that's escapism. It's honestly been difficult making this video. Being for real, it's much easier to explain why something is bad than trying to explain why something is good or what something means to you. And for me, Silent Hill 2 is like the final boss. The game is mostly indescribable, meaning explaining it is more subjective, which is ironic because morons will claim there's nothing more to add to the discussion of Silent Hill 2. The game can mean many things because it puts a mirror onto the player. The intro! Of course, there are things in Silent Hill 2 that are definitive. It is a character study about a dude called James, the fart face, and like, Silent Hill 2 is just a complex game. But alas, we need to set some things up before we enter Nightmare. This video won't be heavily edited, meaning I highly recommend you listen to this video while doing something. There will be small edits, but mostly the footage will be Silent Hill 2 gameplay. Also, I will be spoiling a lot about Silent Hill 2. Actually, everything. I have said this many times and I will continue to say this. If you haven't played Silent Hill 2, please play it. In my opinion, no, objectively speaking, it is the perfect video game. Even though the remake is excellent, I still encourage you to play the original. For this video in particular, I'm going to be more serious and there won't be my usual sense of humour in it. I will try to add some light jokes when I can fit them in, because this video is going to be really depressing and emotional. And trust me, we all love to meme on Silent Hill 2, even Team Silent memes on it, but this time I need to give Silent Hill 2 the respect it deserves. On top of that, I won't be censoring myself. Silent Hill 2 deals with suicide, sexual assault, verbal and physical abuse, sexual frustrations, murder, and death. This game is for adults and deals with mature themes. It deserves respect. You respect it. I'm not censoring myself. And last, but definitely not least, a massive shout out and love to JustSomeNoob for making a masterpiece of a thumbnail. He was always going to be the artist I wanted to make the thumbnail for this video, and it's perfect. The car, James, his tired expression, it captures what Silent Hill 2 is about so hard. All of their links will be in the description of this video. Please, please, please check them out and support them. They do make the naughty stuff, so you have been warned. For real, I consider them to be one of the best artists out there, and I will always be grateful that I get to work with them. Support JustSomeNoob now! Do it! And with that said, it's time. Enter Nightmare. What does escapism actually mean? It comes from the word escape, which itself means to run away or break free from a situation. You could be trapped in a cell, or maybe you want to run away from your home because of its bad living conditions. The point is, escaping is the action used to get away from something physically. So escapism takes the original concept to another world, mentally and physically. It's like a grey word, like the fog in Silent Hill. It means to escape the everyday problems we have through a distraction. By the way, I hate how distraction is mostly used in a cynical way in the modern age. You need to focus and stop getting distracted. Like, yes, in some situations it is bad, but it's a word that pairs really well with escapism, so it's not completely a bad thing. Back on track. We all take part in escapism. Do you play video games? Watch a movie? Read a book? Going out with friends? These acts, no matter how insignificant, help us to forget about the real world and the problems we have to deal with. There's also the mental side, daydreaming or getting lost in your thoughts. Me personally, I love to daydream and imagine myself in a different world, or being in the world from a video game or cartoon, even be friends with the characters from that world. It's why I love to cosplay, because in a way I get to live in that world for a bit. Yet the cruel fact is that escapism never lasts, and you'll always be brought back to the horrible world we live in. And that's the perfect time to move on to the next section. How does Silent Hill 2 use escapism? That's a pretty loaded question, because there are the characters, the endings, the monsters, the puzzles, the DLC, the soundtrack, and the town itself! There's so much to cover. So, let me start with the basics, and then go into more detail with the characters, monsters, etc, etc. To put it simply, the town itself is an entity that enables those inside it to escape from the real world. However, reality bleeds through it. Just like escapism, you can never run away from reality forever. To use one example, the corpses that look very similar to James Sunderland. You can find them throughout the game. But why? Well, James very recently murdered Mary Sunderland, his wife, before entering Silent Hill, and he wanted to commit suicide. However, he couldn't, and he chose to oppress/escape his true feelings and what he has done. Now let's go back to the corpses. The reality is that James wants to die. He can try his best to forget about it, he can explore Silent Hill as much as he wants, but we all know that reality bleeds through. James can't resist it. The man had the intention to commit suicide. He wants to die. He can't escape the truth, hence we see those corpses, and that's just one example. To highlight how amazing Silent Hill 2 is, those corpses could mean other things, like death is surrounding James, his life has been taken over by Mary's sickness, and he sees himself as a walking corpse, or, since he murdered Mary, perhaps death is what he deserves. And the corpses is just such a little detail, you know? And it's just, Silent Hill 2 is just the perfect game. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Now you understand the gimmick that Silent Hill 2 uses for escapism, in my opinion. Let's dive deeper and look into it with more detail. Let's start off with the man himself, James Sunderland. One of the very first instances of James using escapism is in the intro of the game. First, the mirror scene. There's something off about it. It's a bit strange. It's actually a really clever way to get the player thinking, like, it's so odd you have to question it. What is James doing exactly? I will tell you, he's just sobered up, and he's oppressing his mind. He wants to forget he murdered his wife and he wanted to commit suicide. He's telling himself it was all just a nightmare from drinking too much, but we all know better, and so does James. He won't be able to ignore it forever. Then we see his car with one door opened. That car tells us so much. It's not just a car. Okay, it is a car, but let me explain. Firstly, James used said car to literally escape from what he has done, murdering his wife, putting her corpse in the back seat, and driving to Silent Hill. He couldn't face the idea of others knowing what he did. We know this thanks to Papa Sunderland in Silent Hill 4. Smash like for Silent Hill 4. Secondly, the door is open. James was drinking heavily. Why do people drink? To escape reality. Taking alcohol is described as numbing the pain. Combining that with the car equals James was in a really bad mental state. Now, we don't know for sure if he tried to commit suicide while he was drunk, or he couldn't do it, then consume the alcohol. Regardless, this tells us the man wanted to escape what he has done. We know this all thanks to the door being open. Why would anyone leave a door open like that? It's irrational. Last, the letter or the fake letter. James narrates that he received a letter from Mary telling him she's waiting for him at our special place in Silent Hill. But wait, Mary died from that damn disease. The truth is that the letter that James has is bogus. It's not real. It's a fake. At first, James has the letter and envelope, but as you progress through the game, the writing in the letter disappears, then the letter, and then the envelope. James made the whole thing up, but it was based off the real letter. It gave him a false objective, to distract himself, to escape what he has done, but it could also be from the town itself, using a piece of reality to give James the motivation to stop escaping what he has done. Regardless, it serves its purpose. And that's just the intro. It's interesting how people think James does the whole oppress his mind thing in an instant. However, that's far from the truth. He did a lot to forget what he had done. He really took escapism to the next level. Something that James does when he's in the town called Silent Hill is put his hand in holes and a toilet, or jumps in holes. He doesn't even wash his hands. This is quite alarming, but it does tell us a lot about James. In context of escapism, he does it without any fear, because it's a distraction. It's just another thing he can do to take his mind off the truth. It would explain why he barely reacts to it. Why should it bother him? He's one step closer to finding his Mary. Speaking of strange behaviours, James is quite aware of the danger that lurks in Silent Hill. He witnesses a lying figure, yet he pushes forward when at any time he could leave Silent Hill. Why? It's so clear. He doesn't want to go back. He's not ready to face what he's done. In a weird way, he's on a holiday trip to Silent Hill again. This time, he's packed his wife's corpse in the car and said town is full of monsters. Fun indeed. I wish more people talked about this part of James's behavior. I know, video game is a video game. Man must go through the town. But any rational person would get the hell out of Silent Hill. The town isn't forcing James to stay, yet he does. When James interacts with the other characters, it's really clear for the most part, he really doesn't want to talk to them. That's because in a weird way, his escapism is temporarily paused. Man has to talk. Man clearly doesn't want to talk. Man is not a people person. It would also explain why the conversations in the game are dreamlike. The other characters are also in their own escapism, and they too don't want to talk to James. If I may highlight one conversation that perfectly captures what I mean, it's the very first one between Angela and James. It's such a human conversation. They clearly have other motives and they don't want to talk to each other. The dialogue in this game is just top tier. Of course, I have to mention that James looks away when he talks to the other characters. It's like he wants to return to his escapism and wants to stop talking. Next, it's very clear that James has never used a gun before, or even fought in his life. He's the most average white man ever. It speaks volumes that he starts using guns, and in a way, he gets used to it, like the player. In my opinion, this also adds to his escapism. Ever since Mary became ill, she has stolen his life away. James never had the chance to do something different. I guess using guns is James's new hobby? What's also very interesting is that apart from a few exceptions, you do not have to fight the monsters in Silent Hill. They are just there, minding their own business. If you do choose to attack them in context of escapism, James is distracting himself further. He has to slay the monsters to find his wife. It's another layer to his illusion he believes in. This also applies to him using the boat to get to Lakeview Hotel. The health meter isn't just a video game thing. Of course, we all know low health equals in water ending, blah blah blah. However, it's also used as a reminder that everything happening is real and James will die if it runs out. We can't have that because man is on a quest. He can't be in his escapism if he's dead. Hush hush, I know that suicide is a form of escapism from the real world in water, but getting killed and wanting to die are two different things. And in this moment, James wants to live. Don't worry, we'll talk more about suicide being a form of escapism later. Oh, and this also proves that everything in Silent Hill 2 happened. I don't know where this came from, but ever since the remake came out, morons, yes I'm calling them morons, are pushing this narrative that it all happened in James's head. No it didn't! You're wrong! Then we have Angela's knife. We'll talk more about what the knife represents in terms of escapism when we get to Angela's section and the in-water ending, but to give you the short answer, the knife represents a more real method to escape the real world. It's why looking at it adds a point to the in-water ending. Suicide is a permanent way to never return to the real world. It's why Angela wanted her knife back, and why James wanted to die. They want to escape their reality for good. They can't bear it anymore, living with such guilt. They don't want to live in reality anymore, and a knife is as real as it gets. Next, Mary's photo. I hope I can explain what it represents in a way that makes sense. It's both a piece of reality and it's fake at the same time that adds fuel to James's escapism. Wow, what a loaded statement. Yes, it's real, and that is Mary Sunderland. However, it's not an accurate picture of who she is now. The damn disease has damaged her face, her personality. She's a different woman. That photo is a relic of the past, a better version of Mary from James's point of view. Mary now was abusive. Man is thinking about how the past is better and using said photo to give himself the idea that his wife is healthy again in Silent Hill. In my opinion, it's very relatable. We all have fantasies about the past. We were younger, we had more free time, we didn't have to worry about work or education. It's dreamy. The sad reality is, you can trap yourself in the past as much as you want, but the real world is moving forward in the present. You can't think about the past too much, or else it will consume you. Moving on, in my opinion the best scene in the game is the hallway conversation, because it brings back James to reality for a brief moment. If you choose to listen to it, you realise just a little bit, a tiny bit, why James murdered Mary and why he wanted to escape. We only get a brief moment of the abuse he went through. Remember, this was happening for 3 long years. We only hear the tiniest fraction of it. James was enduring so much from Mary's abuse. If you choose to ignore it and run for the door, it reinforces the idea that James wants to keep the escapism going. It's why it adds a point to the Maria ending. It's a very difficult scene to watch and listen. I think it perfectly captures how depressed we become when our escapism ends. The truth scene with the tape also plays a similar role. However, like Mary's photo, not only does it give us a little glimpse of Mary when she was healthy and kind to James, but it suddenly cuts to James murdering her. Both the town and James's mind had enough. No more lies, no more escapism. This is reality. James loved Mary, but not what she became, and he wanted her out of the way. He wanted his life back. I want to really praise Team Silent for not being abstract about how James learns the truth. They used a real life method. No tricks, no monsters, no crazy imagery, just realism. 2 more quick mentions. The noose and James's gravestone are good examples of reality slipping through. James wants to die, even though he doesn't think he wants to. It's very real, and it's clever. Not much to say about it, but it's creative how Team Silent used them. Man jumping through a hole with his name on it, pulling the noose down, that's wild as hell. I love it. So, What does this mean for James? It's quite simple. James is intoxicated with the delusions he's made up. It's so strong that he genuinely believes that his wife is healthy and alive again. He wants to live and not commit suicide. Despite reality slipping through, he pushes on because he genuinely believes in this false reality he escapes to. But no matter how hard he tries, no matter how far he goes, and no matter how determined he is, reality will always catch up to him. There is no escaping what he has done. How will James deal with the reality of what he has done? Let's talk about the endings. There are the Leave, In Water and Maria endings that can only be obtained in the first playthrough. Then we have Rebirth, Dog, and UFO that can be unlocked in New Game Plus. In addition, Team Blooper added 2 new endings to the remake, Bliss and Stillness, which can only be obtained in New Game Plus. Let's get the Rebirth, Dog, and UFO out of the way quickly, because they feel like bonuses, extras, than endings. The Dog and UFO endings are jokes. Yes, I did make a video about how the Dog ending is scary because James was never in control of his life, and this can apply to us. Greater powers rule over us. But let's all be honest with ourselves. The joke ending and the UFO one are jokes. Rebirth is a nod to Silent Hill 1. Yes, you could argue that in this ending, James is denying reality and he wants to create his own one, not dreams or escapism, but create a whole new world. Sorry, but this is so out of character for James. I don't believe this white boy would ever go that far. To be clear, it's not a bad ending in terms of quality. It's amazing. However, for me, it's clear that it's just a nod to the cult in Silent Hill. It's charming, I guess. Finally, let's talk about the main endings. Leave, In Water, and Maria. Let's start with Leave. In this ending, James chooses to do what Mary wishes and lives on. He can be seen walking back to his car. We can also see Laura in this ending as well. By the way, there's a corpse in his car. Ooh boy, I wonder how James is going to explain this one. That was a little joke, but no, that actually brings up a glaring issue about this ending. Sure, he's accepted the truth. He no longer is in escapism state. He knows he has to return to reality, and his wife wants him to live. He tries, but can he? Mary was his world. He entered nightmare because he couldn't face what he did to Mary. Now he just has to live on? I don't know if he can just move on. We know thanks to Papa Sunderland, he's missing. What's happened? Even though Silent Hill was a nightmare filled with monsters, for James at least, it was seductive, taking him out of reality. What does he have in the real world? I'm not saying it's going to end badly for the man, but we just don't know. And I really hate it when people say it's the best ending. The good ending. The ending James deserves. Like, no, this is not good. It's better to describe this ending as the unknown. We just don't know. Man is walking through fog. It's so clear what this means. And that's scary in my opinion. Facing reality. James is no hero. He's not strong. He's pretty weird. He's just a man. A broken man whose world is Mary. His love of his life. Who is now no longer with him. Will he be okay? I don't know. You don't know. And it's fitting because that's reality. We just don't know what's going to happen. It's scary to think about the future. We then have the Maria ending. In this ending, James doesn't learn his lesson and commits to taking the ultimate form of escapism found in Silent Hill, Maria. In a cruel, twisted way, he takes Maria as a replacement for Mary. She's seductive, charming, warm. If she's real, why not take her with him to reality? By the way, corpse is still in the car, but you know that. In my opinion, this is the worst outcome for James, because he refused to accept what's happened, and he's taking his delusions with him. He's still dreaming like, I got a new wife. Who's Mary? I can still pretend nothing ever happened. Technically, he's doing what Mary wanted, and that's to live on, but this is really dangerous. James's mind is twisted beyond help. On top of all of this, Maria coughs like Mary, and James says, in my opinion, the scariest line in the game, "You better do something about that cough." It really shows how far James has fallen. I have to rephrase what has happened. The town gives James the ultimate escapism, which is Maria, who was born from a wish of James's desire for a version of his dead wife when she was healthy and more beautiful. In his point of view, the man embraces it instead of learning his lesson. Who the hell have we been playing all this time? It's going to end badly for both of them. Then we have my canon ending, In Water. I'm gonna try my best not to get emotional, but no promises. In this ending, James commits suicide by driving his car into water, drowning himself. He is with Mary. In a sad yet poetic way, they're together again. In Silent Hill, James can't handle going back to the real world without his Mary. The only way to truly escape with her was to die. It's even sadder knowing that in this ending, he disobeys Mary's wish for him to live on. It's what he wanted to do since the start of the game. It's such a fitting end for James. Depression, guilt, hate, abuse consuming his life. He hated Mary for who she became, but he always loved her. In the real world, she's dead. She can't come back. No one can. All humans will die. James can try so hard to make up she's alive and waiting for him in a special place. It will never last. It never does. For James to do this, it's all because of his love for Mary. He is loyal to her till death. He simply can't live in a world without her. It's so depressing, but in my opinion, it's a beautiful ending. The one form of escapism that lets you truly escape the world is suicide. Then we have the two new endings that Team Blooper added in the remake. In the Bliss ending, James is in the tape when Mary was healthy. He is no longer sitting on the chair. There are different interpretations of what's going on, but basically James is in a very high dream state, thinking he's with Mary, but in reality, he's completely lost it. You might as well call this the drug ending. It's kind of like Jacob's Ladder's drug scene, but in reverse. Drugs can be used to escape reality. People do overdose, so it does fit with Silent Hill 2's theme of escapism. However, it's too simple. Silent Hill 2 explores very dark and complex human emotions. This ending is just James submitting to drugs. In my opinion, it's very out of character for him. He's a regular white guy, not someone dealing with drug abuse. Even Jacob's Ladder removed that scene, and the film worked so much better for it. I don't know. I think you would need more build-up for this to be a harder hitting ending. Even Rebirth had James collecting items. Again, it fits for Silent Hill 2's themes, but objectively speaking, in my opinion anyway, it's the weakest one. I will say, however, seeing James hug Mary is very sweet, even though it's all in James's head. Stillness is Blooper's version of In Water, and holy hell, I love it so much. It could have been the new In Water ending for the remake, and I would have said that it would be my new canon ending. Yes, I am so serious. So what makes Stillness so good? Mary. Mary is in this ending. It's not her, of course. It's Mary through James's mind. She's sitting in the back where her corpse would be. James wants to go in water, and she passively tells him it's okay. She's waiting for him. James is breaking down, and then he goes in water. Somehow, they made the In Water ending even more depressing. It's in water, but James's delusion still lingers just a little bit longer. That little push to commit to suicide. It's so tragic. It fits with Silent Hill 2 so much. Before we continue, I am aware people believe he jumped out of the car before he goes into water. Okay, this is my video, my fault, and there's nothing that confirms it. Sucks, doesn't it? Overall, these endings show us how James deals with ending his escapism in different ways. Or not. There is no true answer. We all have our own ways to deal with reality. It's never pretty, which I adore so much. There is no happy ending. There is no fix to this. You can't just make reality better. The real world is cruel, horrible, sad, and depressing. But somehow, some way, we gotta deal with it. There is no simple answer, but how we deal with it defines us. And James. Even though Silent Hill 2 is James' story from his point of view, there are other characters who enter Silent Hill. They too play a role in escapism. They all escape the real world to find Silent Hill. Let's talk about them. Eddie Dombrowski. He ran away to Silent Hill because he shot a bully in the leg. His escapism was food, and later, the gun. He can be seen eating pizza in Silent Hill. Where did he get the pizza from? I don't know, maybe from a dog probably. Plus, how can you sit there and eat when there are monsters, man? Anywho, it's very obvious that Eddie uses food for comfort. It helps him to escape the bullying he endured. It's ironic because eating is what led him to get bullied in the first place. He's chubby, and he was bullied for it. Even Laura calls him a fatso. It really does bother him, by the way. In the remake, James tells him he hasn't lost his appetite. And he didn't mean it in a bad way, but Eddie is so hurt by it. Even the OG James is disgusted that Eddie would rather eat than look for Laura. Then he gets the gun that gives Eddie the illusion of power. The moment Eddie has his revolver, it's like he becomes a different person. The gun gives you power. He's more confident. Even though James is older than him, he doesn't listen to him at all. The gun allows Eddie to be someone he wishes to be. Bullies won't laugh at him anymore because the gun can kill. The gun knows. It doesn't matter who it is. It's depressing because he never killed anyone. Not even the dog, in my opinion. The gun has made Eddie into a different man. A monster. It's why when James calls him nuts, Eddie gets mad. It's not because it's an insult. I mean, yeah, it's an insult, but in that moment, Eddie's ego is questioned by James giving him a dose of reality. That's why Eddie wants to kill James, because James is threatening his escapism. Eddie is the result of someone going way too deep into his escapism. It's dangerous. If I may add, I love that you can't pick up his revolver. It's not meant for you. It belongs to Eddie. Angela Orozco. She escaped to Silent Hill after killing her father and brother. We learn that she's looking for her mama and she has a knife. For most of Angela's story in Silent Hill 2, she simply can't use escapism. She mentally can't escape the sexual abuse she endured from her father and brother. We know this because in her last scene, the burning staircase, it's always been like that for her, hot as hell. She believes that her abuse was justified because she thinks she deserves it. That's how far the abuse has damaged Angela. In the Abstract Daddy boss fight, she is just sitting down. She doesn't attempt to run or hide. This is her punishment that her own mind is telling her she deserves. The remake missed that completely, by the way. She honestly has one of the most tragic backstories. However, there are moments where she does get some temporary escapism, talking with James. I know it's such an ordinary thing to do, and I'm aware they both don't want to talk to each other, but it does give Angela a brief moment of respite from everything. James is probably the first person she had a proper conversation with in years, and of course, the knife. I talked about suicide being a form of escapism that truly lets you escape the real world. I don't need to add much, since I explained it when talking about the immortal ending, but I will say this. The way she's lying down and holding the knife, it's very clear that using that knife to end it all is intoxicating for her. In her eyes, it's the only way to escape this hell. In the end, she is fully committed to it. That knife was also used to kill her father. Knives can take a life away so easily. It's no wonder she wanted it back. Angela was broken by the abuse she endured. For some people, they can't recover. They can't overcome reality. It's simply too much for them. They only see suicide as their only option. Angela hates herself to the point that she hates looking at mirrors. If I may add, Angela really reminds me of Midotsky from Yuminiki. They both try to escape from the horrors of reality. They can't, so they proceed to commit suicide. In the real world, this is far too common. Then we have the little demon herself, Laura. She is interesting because out of the cast of characters, she is truly innocent. She literally can't see any monsters in Silent Hill. The fact that Team Silent made her a child is just masterful writing. In terms of escapism, we know that she likes to draw, and pretty fatso, and fart face. There is one more thing though. She even kind of shares this with James. She too is looking for Mary. She even has a letter from her. She stole the letter from Nurse Rachel and ran to Silent Hill. Mary was a mother figure / friend for Laura. We know Mary treated her well because Laura loved Mary a lot. Her journey is finding her again, just like James. Of course, escapism ends with reality. The guilty James Sunderland tells her the truth. Her world is crashing down. She runs away. It's a lot for a child to handle. All things considered, I like to believe that she's doing okay after the events of Silent Hill 2. Then we have Maria. This is going to get nuts, and let me explain why. She herself is escapism for James made by the town. She has her own escapism, which is to be with James and leave Silent Hill. She dies twice by Red Pyramid Thing, and she also embodies the part of James that is holding on to the past, aka wanting a healthy Mary again, which in almost all of the endings, James has to kill her. Yikes. Honestly, her story is so tragic. Let's back up a little bit. The purpose that Silent Hill gave her is to seduce James to keep him in Silent Hill. James wanted Mary to be healthy again. Maria is that. Her outfit even reveals some skin because her purpose is to make James want her, care for her. It gets complicated because Maria has her own dreams. She clearly doesn't want to stay in Silent Hill because she sees the monsters. James makes her feel safe. She wants to be with James. The anyway scene and the cell scene make it so clear what her purpose is and show us what her motivations are. It's really depressing how the town uses her. She dies twice to send a message to James, treated like a prop. It's honestly so cruel. And the only ending where she gets to be with James and leave Silent Hill is her own ending, which we all know is not good. The cough, you better do something about it. Even as someone who considers Immortal canon, Maria is clearly treated as the villain in that context. I feel sorry for her. Her anger makes sense. She's just a stepping stone for James to move on. She's literally the problem in all of this. She's not Mary. She is the problem. She needs to go, and that's not her own fault. It's so tragic that she doesn't even get a decent ending. She's placed to be a villain by the town. By far, she is the most unique character when it comes to escapism. Last, and by no means least, we have Mary. We don't know much about her. The only things we do know that was from her are the 2 letters she wrote for Laura and James, and the tape. I will also include the hallway conversation. In my opinion, it is real, but in that moment, it's still from James's mind. We don't truly know what exactly was said, but I like to believe it's real, because it humanizes both Mary and James. Anywho, so we know James used a fake letter and made himself believe Mary was alive. Yes, we talked about that, but I want to talk about Mary herself, not James's idea of her. This is going to be really sad. So Mary did have some escapism in her life. It was James and visiting Silent Hill. Her special place was the hotel room. It makes so much sense. When you love someone so much and they are your world, even a room, a small room, can be your most special place ever. It was their special place. Wild, isn't it? Now, there's also another thing Mary did for escapism, and it's really not pretty. The abuse she gave to James. She is dying, can't move, her skin is decaying, and she hates it. What did she do? She took it out on James for 3 long years. I'm not saying it's right. James endured a lot, but what else did she have? Yeah, she loved Laura, but Mary was dying and is all alone. She knew her time was at its end when the doctors told her she could leave to visit home for a short stay. Mary deserved so much better. So yeah, even the other characters are dealing with their own nightmares and had their own ways to deal with it. Just like James, reality will always come crashing down, no matter how hard you try to escape it. Now it's the monsters' time to shine. Yes, they too reflect escapism and are connected to James. They physically embody reality bleeding through the escapism. Let's begin. The lying figure. This feminine monster is simple. It has a BDSM design to it, high heels, and what appears to be a zipper body bag. Of course, it's all flesh. The lying figure represents how Mary was bedridden in the hospital, trapped and in so much pain. This monster wants to break free from its own body bag, just like Mary wants to be free from her illness. It's important to take note of the high heels. James was sexually frustrated, and it shows. The mannequins. Another feminine monster, a body with 4 legs. Just like with the lying figure, it displays James's sexual frustrations. Yet, it also showed us that indeed, he found Mary beautiful at one point. To be honest, out of all the monsters, the mannequins are definitely the least monster-ish. The bobblehead nurse. Oh boy, here we go. Let's get straight to the point. Yes, it's feminine. Yes, it's sexualized. Tits being visible. The sealed mask it wears. There's full white substance. I'm not going to explain any further. Nah, I will. Fuck it. It's like a condom and semen. The remake makes that clear, but there's so much more to the nurses. The fact that it's bloody and dirty really shows how much James hates hospitals. It's meant to be a place that heals people, yet it can't do anything for Mary. It's a place he's been going to for 3 long years, a place where he gets abused by Mary. Going to the hospital has become a literal nightmare for him. Part of the nurse's head kind of looks like a child, hinting that James and Mary wanted a child, yet they couldn't. The remake also made that clearer. The nurses represent the growing hatred James has for Mary. It's kinda like a cruel reflection. Yes, it's sexualized, but it's dirty, bloody, vile. It's what James wants, but deformed, just like Mary. Little rant, could we please just not lob the nurses into sexualized camp because James is horny? Yes, his sexual frustration plays a part, but it's not everything about James! The nurses represent more struggles he's going through. Even Atoy, the concept monster designer for the OG games, remade them less sexual for the remake because there's more to them than being horny. Rant over. The Mandarin. Feminine, yes. But mouth? Ooh, yeah. This monster is Mary's abuse in physical form. What I love about it is how big those mouths are, because the abuse James endured may have been verbal, yet they still hurt James so much. Mary was angry. She took it out on James. She couldn't physically abuse James, but words hurt, and they hurt James so badly. Flesh lips. This monster is one of 2 that feels really real versus abstract escapism. It's very clear that this monster represents Mary, her bed in the hospital, bounded to it, and all she can do is use her mouth. Flesh lips is strong. It really does show us how bad the abuse was for James. Abstract daddy. This one is odd to talk about because it's Angela's monster, and that's not what Angela sees. What we see is from James's point of view. This monster looks completely different to Angela. I will say it does fit with flesh lips and the Mary monster. It goes for a more realism than abstract. It's very clear on what it represents. Red Pyramid Thing, the only masculine monster. It's the only one that breaks the theme of the game in the best way possible. Not completely though. It's weird to explain. Red Pyramid Thing's actions definitely represent James. Attacking the mannequin, doing the suicide, etc. Hating Mary and wanting to die. knife equals guilt, etc. But Red Pyramid Fiend is also a dude who wears a massive triangle. He does not in any way represent reality bleeding through in his design. Bro has a massive tongue! And that's okay. Red Pyramid Fiend is the monster. James's monster. And you know what? That's fine. It's a force that pushes James forward. I may be wrong. Maybe it does represent something. Who knows? Last, and my personal favourite, the most beautiful, Mary, bound into a bed, moths around her, choking James like he did to her. She is what this was all about. Her design represents her final days. Diseased, decaying, dying, chained to a bed. She follows James, trapping him like she did when she was alive, stealing his life away. This is the monster hunting James. Yet, she is beautiful. She is the love of his life, his world. She is the most horrifying yet beautiful monster in this game. She was everything for James. It's so befitting that to end this nightmare, he must kill Mary again. She falls to the ground. It really does look like the bed in the hospital. It's the perfect way to end this game. It started with Mary, and it ends with her. What I love so much about the monsters, and pretty much Silent Hill 2, is none of this is explained. You have to pick up the pieces and make sense of it all. Visual storytelling at its best. Oh, and I love how most of the monsters just lurk around and don't attack James. That's because a big theme of Silent Hill 2 is decay. It's like even the monsters are decaying, and they don't really want to attack James unless he provokes them. Yeah, because James is the real monster all along? Even the town itself plays a role in escapism. It does it in the most simplest way possible. It's just decayed, lost of life. That's all. I know, it's basic as hell, but it doesn't need to be more complex. This was once a place of life. Life that Mary and James had together. Just like when Mary was healthy. Now it's dying. With time, everything turns to dust. The place that made James happy is now a nightmare. If I may add that the other world doesn't really change much as well. I like that. James is depressed. It all looks the same. It's why it's much harder and still debated when James enters the other world. The remake changed this, of course, and in my opinion, it worsens the experience. I will say though, what it does with Lakeview Hotel is nice. The town perfectly captures both the escapism and the reality that James is going through at the same time. Even the soundtrack plays into escapism. I thought a lot about how to explain this. In my opinion, it's best to use a few examples. White noise. This is one of the very first soundtracks the player hears in the game. What makes it so fitting is how it sounds out of this world, but familiar at the same time. It feels like it wants to escape, but can't. Then we have betrayal. Divine sounds mixed in with grinding, metal, vile sounds. This is played when fighting Red Pyramid Fiends. James understands what's going on. It's time to break away from escapism and face reality. Lastly, Mary's theme. It sounds so soothing at the start. Then it becomes aggressive. It's like James is fighting to end this nightmare, yet Mary or Maria is fighting to keep him here. It's just a masterpiece. Honestly, the whole soundtrack is a masterpiece, and without it, Silent Hill 2 wouldn't be Silent Hill 2. Honestly, I could go on. Fuck it, one more. Black Fairy is played when James discovers the truth and returns to reality. Why I love it so much is because the music in a way is fighting with itself. It wants to return to how it was, but can't. James's guilt, depression, and reality is too much. The sound you're hearing is so disjointed, it's honestly depressing. It's editing Master Lean here, and this is going to be another take on me recording my lines on what Silent Hill 2 taught me and escapism and what Silent Hill 2 means to me, because when I did this the first time, I ended up crying so much that my eyes became super red, and me trying to explain, like read the script, it turned into a mess, and I felt that, you know, maybe I should do another take of this, of me not crying and just trying to like explain what it teaches me, what the game taught me. So here is the definitive edition take, whatever it is. Okay, here we are. It's time to finally talk about what Silent Hill 2 taught me. This is going to be difficult, but here we go. I'm someone who is very intoxicated when it comes to daydreaming. I love to daydream, and because of this, it makes it difficult for me to enjoy stuff, because afterwards I get really depressed. For example, I could watch an anime, play a video game, or a movie, etc. and I would daydream that I was in the anime or game, and I would daydream that those characters in those mediums were my friends. And hell, I've fallen for a guy named Luis from Metaphor Re Fantasio, and it just hurts because I know that I have to return to reality. I know that these things I consume will turn to dust. They'll eventually disappear. You know, one day I will no longer love Luis. He was just a distraction. Okay, maybe not. I'll die loving that man. He's my babe. He's my husband. I will put him on my gravestone. But my point is, escapism never lasts. And our real world is horrible, cruel, difficult, vile. And escapism can only do so much. And there's no escaping the real world. It will always be a part of our lives. And it's depressing. Our interests will decay. We will decay. The ones I love, my best friend, my close friends, those dear to my heart, they will decay and die, like Mary, and none of us can escape that. But then Silent Hill 2 came along. It showed me what James may do trying to deal with reality. He lives on, pushing forward. Maybe things will turn out okay, maybe not. He finds another woman, but we all know that won't last. Then we have the ending where he wants to truly escape reality by committing suicide with his wife's body in the car, and finally being together with Mary. All of these options aren't ideal. They're not happy endings. They're not answers. They're not solutions. They're outcomes. And this is going to sound really strange, and I don't blame any of you for calling me weird, but a game with nightmarish monsters, depression, suicide, guilt, exhaustion, decay, death, constantly throughout the whole game is super comforting for me. It kind of taught me to accept that it's okay. Reality is horrible, yes, and none of us wants to deal with it, but we have to, eventually, and it'll be okay. Don't be afraid. James went through so much in Silent Hill 2. He went through hell, but in the end, he faced the truth. He faced what he did, and it turned out okay, and you shouldn't let it rip your life apart. And for some reason, it's comforting. I don't think the future is so scary. I don't think the reality is the worst anymore. I feel like it'll be okay, and the game makes me want to live. It's so weird saying that, but it's true. Whenever I feel depressed, or I'm sad, lonely, or I need some alone time because I'm dealing with real life stuff and it's scary, I boot up Silent Hill 2 and I suddenly feel comfortable. I feel happy. It comforts me. I love this game so much. And that's all it does for me. It's telling me it'll be okay. And yeah. And I know, I have said so many times on my channel, and in this video, that In Water is my canon ending, and it's very grim to think about. Like, suicide? It's a permanent way to escape the real world, and in my opinion, it's very fitting for James. And honestly, when you think about how cruel this world really is, and how vile and disgusting it really is, which is really depressing to think about, it doesn't sound so bad, but I am not James. I am Marceline, and I still have people dear to my heart. My bestie, my close friends, the ones I love so dearly. And I know, they will decay. So will I. We will die. But they are my world. And as long as I live, they will not live in a Marceline-less world. And right now, in reality, they give me so much comfort. And they are a little light in my world. They make living through this nightmare worth it. And that's so important, because escapism is seductive, and it's lovely, and it's amazing, but they're real, and that means something. That counts for something. If James was strong enough to endure Silent Hill, so am I. And yeah, Silent Hill 2 is comforting for me. It's going to be okay, I think. And when the time comes, when my friends and those dear to my heart do grow old and decay or die, again, death looms around the corner, you know, it's not going to be such a scary thing. Like, of course, it'll be sad, and thinking about it is scary, and I don't want to think about it, but it's important to accept that, though. Accept that death is inevitable. And Silent Hill 2 just has such a mature and, like, wonderful way of saying that, you know? Because if you think too much about that and escape those thoughts, sorry, I don't know why I say it like that, it will rip your soul apart, you know? And I'm not saying I'm ready. I'm probably going to cry like a massive baby, but it gives me comfort about that part of life, you know? And Mary just perfectly captures that, you know? She was full of life and love, but she eventually got the disease and decayed and was rotting away. And yeah, Silent Hill 2, this game that's over 20 years old now, is just, this is Fartface's fault. Damn you, James. But yeah, I feel like more people should play this game, you know? It teaches you so much, and it's a good game. It's a perfect game. And I'm glad that it's taught me this lesson about escapism. Because honestly, it's changed my life. It's so comforting. Yeah, that's it. I don't know what else to say. This wouldn't be a mastering video without extras. Let's go. The sound playing when starting a new game is Enter Nightmare. Fitting, since James is escaping what he did to only escape to a nightmare. There are themes of escapism in the other Silent Hill games. Harry wants to look for his daughter and leave Silent Hill. Heather wants to escape the fate she was given by the cult. She dyes her hair, her spoiler name. However, in my opinion, Silent Hill 4 takes it literally. Henry goes through a hole and tries to leave his apartment. To be honest, I love Silent Hill 4 so much. Man is trapped in a room, wants to leave room. That's it. Silent Hill 2 has a DLC called Born from a Wish. To be honest, it deserves its own video. In a nutshell, it expands on Maria's character. It does include little details like the gun she has only having one bullet when you get it, which I like. I won't get into more because it needs its own video. I can't do it justice here. The puzzles also fit with the theme of escapism. To name my favourite one, the music box puzzle. Music is a form of escapism. Not to mention, on the hard puzzle difficulty, the solution is literally describing the good and bad of escapism. And that's it. Oh my god, what a roller coaster of a video. Just like Silent Hill 2, once you finish it, you feel emotionally drained. But you know, despite how hard it was trying to put into words what this game meant to me, this video has been in the making for so long, and it honestly feels like heaven finishing it. This video was for me. Yet! We are not done! Thank you to JustSomeNoob for making such a masterpiece thumbnail for this video. His work is the best. The very best. I am forever grateful he made this piece. It truly embodies Silent Hill 2. I just love how tired James looks, and the car as well. They both look so dope. Please, their links are in the description. Go and support him and his work. He is a wonderful person, and a goddamn talented artist. More people need to support him. He's one of the best. I mean it. He does make the naughty stuff, so you've been warned. But regardless, his artwork is just top tier. His links are in the description, so please go and support JustSomeNoob now.